Welcome back to the Ronny and Ernie show. I am Ron Williams. I am a sommelier and wine specialist.
I am Ernie Zahn. I am a filmmaker and I do other things, but I'm mostly a filmmaker.
Each week we get together and discuss our shared interests.
And despite our very different lines of work, it's our shared interests that give us an opportunity to collaborate on various projects. And sometimes we even like to talk about those things right here on this podcast here.
Like today.
Such as today.
Yeah.
What do we have? Do you have something?
I do. I have a thought experiment for you. What would it sound like if Robert De Niro played R2-D2? Bop-a-da-bop-bop! Beep-beep-bop-bop!
That's jovial De Niro. What about De Niro going through that little narrow pass where the Jawas were stalking him?
Bop-a-da-bop.
That's a...
Bop.
Boop. Hey. Bop beep.
Bop.
One of the beeps has to almost sound like, I don't know.
Bada beep.
Bada boop.
Bada boop.
1 minute and 50 seconds, and we've already completed a thought experiment.
Hey, that's pretty good. That's a good record.
That's Mensa level.
That is. That is Mensa level. Speaking of
Bop,
Mensa, how about those recipes?
Yes. Mensa recipes?
No, I don't know. I couldn't think of a segue, so I just kind of just fill it in there. Just do whatever
Do you
want.
think that there are culinary geniuses in Mensa?
Oh, I don't know. You know what? That would be interesting. I wonder if,
think about things like molecular gastronomy. You have to have a
Yeah.
high-level understanding of chemistry
Yes,
in order to
absolutely.
do that, but you might consider yourself a culinary artist still.
Not necessarily Yeah, that's. I wonder. That's worth looking into. That
That's
is
why I'm an
definitely worth
advocate
looking
for
into.
STEAM over STEM. Are you familiar with these acronyms?
Yeah.
So tell me what STEM is.
STEM is science, technology, engineering,
Yep.
and mathematics.
Yeah, and so the A in STEAM is arts. And I've heard people shoot this down saying we don't need more students going to college, wasting money, and creating debt, becoming artists. And it's not making the argument for individuals going to become artists. And I don't think there's anything wrong with going to school to become skilled in a particular craft.
Of course not.
That's a separate argument.
Yeah.
The argument that STEAM makes is not necessarily an equal amount of attention, but ensuring that there is a balance among all of these other, perhaps hard sciences. I don't know if you count mathematics as a hard science. It's a methodology within hard science, I would say, right?
Yeah,
Is that a
that's
fair
fair.
characterization?
Yeah.
But I think about it this way. STEAM is what it takes to do something that's never been done before, and STEM is what it takes to reproduce the achievement, right? So Apollo 8 orbited the moon. Apollo 11 landed on the moon. You had to use creative thinking and creative problem solving in order to achieve something that there was no point of reference to do at any other point prior. When that process, which was reproduced by Apollo 12 with STEM, went wrong with Apollo 13, they needed to leverage creative problem solving and creative thinking in order to address an unanticipated problem.
Houston, we have a problem.
And I think that that's where the A comes in. The A gives individuals a broader sense of the world, and it gives them an ability to look beyond directly what's in front of them. And it enables them to look beyond rules and instructions and understand them at a higher level so that they can begin to explore and push the boundaries of what is yet to be known.
That's fair.
That's my view on STEAM, and I think that that's why it's important. Some of those individuals may lean harder on the A than any of the other letters, but everyone who is pursuing a career related to one or more of these letters also has that A somewhere in their character. And I think that's the value of Steam.
Definitely worth considering.
So we talked about esquires, attorneys,
Yeah.
doctor, is medical doctors, and there's also individuals with a PhD or a doctorate, right?
Well, just any kind of title,
But so, who decided all these titles, and how come ours? Well, you have a title. I guess you're a sommelier.
Well, I'm also a lord. Did you know that?
You are?
Yeah.
Because you own 1 square foot of Scotland?
That's right.
I know you do.
I do.
Why'd you do $50?
I think so. It was roughly that much. I was getting a gift for someone, and I was like, you know what? I might as well just do it myself too. I
So
guess
you
there
have
was a
to
bit of
introduce yourself in Scottish now.
guitar the tour. And just bagpipes.
What's your Scottish name?
The same as it is in English.
But you have to say it with a Scottish accent.
Oh no, that's okay.
Like the Canterbury Tales, right? On that April spring has pursed to the root. Right? Like that.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know Canterbury Tales.
Chaucer?
Did you know that
Chaucer.
Heath Ledger in The Knight's Tale is based on
What?
The Knight's Tale from the Canterbury Tales?
You're making that up.
Do you know who his
You are
like
making that up.
spokesperson is in the film?
Frasier.
The character Paul Bettany, who's in that film.
Oh my God, it's Jarvis.
Yeah. Do you know what his character is? Do you know what his name is?
No.
Geoffrey Chaucer.
Seriously?
Yes.
I've never seen A Knight's Tale, so can't say I'm
It's-
familiar with it.
It's the Canterbury Tales as a teen movie.
Oh, okay.
And Heath Ledger was in another classic Britannia piece of literature turned into a teen movie, 10 Things I Hate About You.
What is that? The Taming of the Shrew?
That sounds right.
Yeah, right?
I wonder
Interesting.
what else he's done. I wonder if we go back to his career and realize for a second, wait a second, Heath Ledger's been in
played-
every teen movie version of a classic Britannia piece.
Yeah.
Was he ever King Arthur?
I don't know. He was the Joker.
And that was French, wasn't it? Isn't King Arthur isn't it French?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, this is not an area of expertise.
About an English king.
My expertise extends to food, wine, spirits.
What'd you go to school
This is
for?
beyond my... Oh, computer science. I majored in computer science. Minored
What did
in...
you think about that?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I know that you don't do it as a career, and I know that the one time you did it as a career, or at least somewhat related to your degree, it was not for you,
It was not for
to
me.
put it lightly.
It was not for me. Sitting in an office
So,
at a desk.
What was there any part of that experience in school that you enjoyed?
Initially, I really enjoyed coding. I learned C++ to start with, and I liked the logic of it, and I liked how, I don't know why, but I believe it was my musical ability that helped me kind of get through that. They say that if you're good at coding, you generally have good musical ability. I don't know if that's true, but that's
Well,
the
did you
only
find it
other
to be true?
talent that I found, yeah.
Was it a lure for you, or did you find it to actually work in practice?
I don't know. It was the thing that honestly, it was the professor I had for the first class. So I wouldn't have actually taken it. I stumbled on computer science by accident. What happened was freshman year, I needed to fulfill a math credit. I took some kind of like finite math class and then subsequently failed the course. Now, what I found out later was this professor was so horrible that more than half of his students failed. And at the end of that semester, he was dismissed from the university. My grade was subsequently changed, but I freaked out and
Wait,
didn't
why was he
realize that.
dismissed?
Because more than half of his students failed. He was a horrible teacher.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah,
he
yeah.
was horrible, um,
Ruthless.
awful.
He was
So
tenured. He had a reputation. Did something change with him,
I do
or
not
was he
know.
new
I
and
do not know. I don't know the
trying to
details.
make a impression?
I have no idea, but it was bad. It was an awful class. So I needed a math credit. I freaked out, and I ended up taking a summer course that was Introduction to Computer Science, and I fell in love with that material because, due in large part to the teacher. The professor was incredibly engaging and kind of made me enthralled with the subject matter. I then went on to actually become a TA for the department, and in the professor's absence, started teaching classes. Um, it was a
Wow.
lot of fun. It was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it.
And you were doing fencing during that same time too, right?
Yes, Saber, which was a very, very different kind of world from high school where I was doing foil. I was horrible at foil. Saber, I'm not as bad.
Is that the one that you taught me for stage combat?
Yes, that's the one that's most like the swashbuckling you would see in a movie.
Douglas Fairbanks,
Yeah,
swinging from chandeliers.
Errol Flynn.
Errol Flynn, yeah, Errol Flynn. Uh, that's a cool. He's got a cool look.
Hmm.
So,
Zorro.
he was Zorro. Was he the first Zorro? I think Douglas Fairbanks was the first Zorro.
The one with the black and white, and it's like Zorro, he makes the sign of the Z. That one's a good one. It's a good one.
And then a very, 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 very young Anthony Hopkins was taken under his wing,
A very young
and then
Anthony
he
Hopkins.
did the same to Antonio Banderas.
In The Mask of Zorro, it's a direct sequel.
Yeah.
You just don't see the part where Anthony Hopkins, joins him. It's just there's a prequel coming out. We'll see. They're going
I
to
started
use
rewatching. Go ahead.
they're going to use the CG de-aging from The Irishman to make
You know,
Anthony Hopkins look slightly less old.
I've watched some examples of people using machine learning software that's like free and open source,
The
like
deep
that they
fake.
use to make deep fakes,
Yes.
and they did that to de-age R2D2. What's his name? Robert De Niro, and it looks so much better
Then
than
the
I'm
millions of
sorry to say
dollars they
than
spent on that.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh my God. I
And
think
there's
you
probably a
sent that to
team
me.
working on it like a fine oil painting that's being restored or something like that.
Oh,
And then this machine learning thing just did it. Boop. All it did was pull image information from all of his previous films
when he was
and
younger.
extrapolate and rebuild his face and reconstruct everything based on old information.
Jeez.
So the place where it really shows is his eyes.
Yeah.
But it also one thing the de-aging for Arnold in Terminator something, one of the Sega Genesis one,
Sega
um,
Genesis.
they use a body double who was physically similar,
Yeah, he looks
and
really
then
close.
yeah, that's what they did with Frankenstein in Star Wars, Rogue One.
What?
Grand Moff Tarkin, what's his name?
Oh,
That actor.
Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing. They use a body double and someone with similar bone structure, and then they approximated the rest of it.
Yeah, but it looks
I can
really
understand.
weird.
Well, okay, so the problem with it in that is they put way too much of a high key light on it. So when you see all that weird, like, ridiculously smooth muscle movement in his face, it's as though he's doing some sort of CrossFit workout with the muscles of his face.
With his
They're so
eyebrows and
fit.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's hyper real.
People's
There's
eyebrows
there's
don't move that much.
The Rock in The Mummy Returns is fake, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And uh, and I'm trying to think of a good example. That's like a good example. The moments where there's not too much lighting on the fake Peter Cushing
When
looks
you
pretty
first
good,
see
and it's
it,
kind of
it's like
surprising.
I was like, oh my god.
And then it transcends something that feels like it's grounded and becomes hyper real when it has too much light on it,
Yeah.
and it just announces to the world, yeah, we're not ready for this.
Rogue One. What a
With a
fucking
perfect music
disaster.
cue, yeah, we're not ready for this. Um,
I
and
didn't I didn't enjoy Rogue One all that much. Did you enjoy Rogue One?
and the thing that kept bothering me is that what's his name who plays the Mandalorian?
Oh, Pedro Pascal.
I keep thinking Pedro Pascal.
No,
No offense to the actors. They're
well,
both talented actors, but
they clearly couldn't get him for this role, and so they picked whatever this guy is that plays Andor, right? But
they give
they created that role for Pedro Pascal, and he was not
they
available.
give off the they have shared qualities the same way they wanted to get Pierce Brosnan for Living Daylights, and they couldn't, so they casted Timothy Dalton. Right? Pierce Brosnan and Timothy Dalton, I wouldn't want in the same universe together because
Well,
I would
Timothy
confuse
Dalton
them.
was supposed to be in GoldenEye.
Right, but Pierce Brosnan was on the short list in the '80s, and he was on his own Remington Steele
Right,
show at
right,
the
right.
time, so
Remington
he was
Steele.
committed to that, and he couldn't do it. He probably would have been, because that was one of the last things that Cubby did before he passed away was cast Pierce Brosnan.
Right. Huh.
And
Cubby Broccoli.
yeah, it's not a slight on these actors, but it's the same reason I wouldn't want to have. Um, like I feel like with the Ocean's movies, you're mixing kinds of stars for the curiosity of them together, but it doesn't actually work in a movie. You know what I mean?
Like Al Pacino and George
It's
Clooney
too
and
busy. Yeah, it's
yeah.
it's too much. But I think that, but that's the point of Oceans. It's Las Vegas. It's supposed to be too much. You
Yeah.
know?
But there's still I thoroughly enjoy Ocean's 11.
No, no, no.
Ocean's
I
11's
think they're
great
I think
film.
they're great fun. But I'm just saying that it's not the fact that you wouldn't do this is part of the appeal and uniqueness of those films. It's not something you'd want to do normally.
It's the Chinese, Italian, and Asian and Mexican buffet that's Vegas.
So we're not talking about that thing, which is good.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that, but let's talk about
Yeah.
the recipe.
Yes, let's talk about the recipe.
All right, because this recipe is very easy, it's simple, it's affordable. The ingredients cost maybe a few cents, right? One serving is less than $1, wouldn't you say?
Something like
For
that,
like a
especially if you're getting
quarter,
it from
half cup of rice and a quarter, half cup of
Costco.
lentils. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
talking about
But
very,
even
very affordable.
Smith's, Safeway, some other
Kroger's, Stop and
easily
Shop,
accessible.
Acme.
Yeah. Kroger's.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Most supermarkets will, at the very least, have rice and lentils. Um, and so I like the Umbrian lentils, uh, but you can use French lentils. You can use pretty much any lentils you want. I don't advise the Indian style lentils like the split red lentils or golden lentils like that because they tend to disintegrate. You want whole lentils, which is why I love the Umbrian ones. They're very small. Um, the recipe's on there. You can add aromatics if you want. I like to add leeks, carrot, celery. But at its very basic, it's salt, water, rice, lentils. And it's very healthful, very easy to digest. It's well tolerated for anybody with any kind of stomach issues. It's celiac friendly if you're gluten free. It is vegan and vegetarian friendly. Um, it wouldn't be vegetarian friendly if you made it with chicken stock, but that's a way to make it a little more flavorful rather than the water. You can do so many things with it, and it's just really good. And I like to finish it with olive oil and Parmigiano, because I'm a freak about Parmigiano. I love Parmigiano. Are there any cheeses you like more than Parmigiano?
Personally,
Yeah.
I think mozzarella is my favorite. Fresh mozzarella is my
What?
favorite. Yeah.
No. No. Your
Yeah.
opinion is invalid. I'm sorry. Mozzarella's great, but like you realize like Parmigiano Reggiano, real stuff from Italy, is like that is the king of cheeses. Okay,
It's
it
healing.
has that name. It is
It's
healing.
it's refined.
They use
It's
it as
superior in flavor. I totally agree. I'm a glutton.
that you know that they in Modena banks in Modena and Parma take wheels of Parmigiano Reggiano as collateral for loans.
I thought you were going to
That's a
say
real
it's the
thing.
cogs in the safe door.
It's the cogs in the it's everything. It's everything.
They cut the cogs to build the safes out of
Out of
Parmigiano
Parmigiano. That's
Reggiano.
right. That's exactly right. Except no substitute. No
Because in
grana
Italy,
padano here.
it beats steel.
That's right. Constructed with real Parmigiano Reggiano. DOP.
Yeah. That's actually what the utensils are made out of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it true the Chinese invented pasta? Think about this. Why would people who eat with sticks invent something you need a fork to eat?
What's that from?
That's The Sopranos.
Oh.
That's like the first episode of The Sopranos. That's one of the only episodes I've seen, but that line just stuck with me. It's fucking hilarious.
What's this movie from?
What's this movie from? Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we have a good recipe.
We have a good
We
recipe.
have finally settled what R2D2 would sound like if voiced by Robert De Niro.
Correct.
Clearly, steam is better than stem. The jury's out on cheese.
No, the jury is not out on cheese. Parmigiano Reggiano is the buck stops at Parmigiano Reggiano. I will grant you,
And
I would prefer mozzarella on pizza, but there's only so much you can do with mozzarella. There is a finite, flavor there. Even like the best quality, like buffalo milk mozzarella, is not as complex. Does not have as much to bring to the table. It's not as versatile as Parmigiano. That is what I
Fair.
will argue.
You can. There are many more recipe options with Parmigiano.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree. I totally agree.
All right.
But I will eat mozzarella just out of the fridge with nothing.
Oh my God. All right. Well.
Yeah.
To each their own.
Yeah.
Should we close it?
Yes, let's do that. I will do the outro. I'm going to pull up the thing here. A Ronnie and Ernie Show is a joint production of Triello Storytelling Company and the Bon Vivant. Our show is now available on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. If you like what you're hearing, then commenting, subscribing, and reviewing means that this show only gets better.
Recipes, projects, or anything we didn't have enough time to cover in today's show will be up on our blog. They are available at triello.org/blog.
And then you're going to link to it on your site?
Yes. But just
Okay.
go to triello.org/blog. It's fine.
Yeah. And at each of our sites, you can also take a look at what we're currently up to and check out some of the amazingly talented people we collaborate with.
With whom we collaborate.
With whom we collaborate.
Yeah, don't end on a preposition.
With whom we collaborate.
Yes.
Collaborate with whom we do.
Yes. All right. Well,
Yeah, so we say goodbye here.
yeah, let's say goodbye.
I'm going to do a song next.
We'll see.
Next time.
We'll see.
You can learn.
We'll see.
You can learn the chords.
I need the piano. I bought a piano. I bought a digital piano. Amazon shipped it. And
And
then
what
I
happened?
see a big box, and I got really excited, and I go to open the box, and it's a fucking rowing machine. They sent me a rowing machine instead of my piano.
You can make music on a rowing machine. It just
No.
is very strenuous.
Yeah, no thanks. I want my piano.
Okay.
I want my piano. So until next time.
What about
What?
the guitarra?
I haven't picked up the guitar in ages. I lost all my calluses. It takes more effort than I have right now to give to that, but I'll try. I'll try.
All right. If it comes to you easily, look up the chords. Maybe the chords for the song that I'm proposing, which I won't name here because if we
Okay.
don't
All
do
right.
it,
All
then
right.
blah.
Yeah.
Right?
We'll see.
Pick
We'll
up the
see.
chords.
We'll
If
see.
if it's 3 chords, do it.
Can do it. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time. Ciao for now.
Ciao for now. Goodbye.